Hello, everyone. How you doing? Feel free to come to the front if you want. I don't bite, but I do spit sometimes. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Before we start any talk, I really read through our safe harbor statement, which is, I call it our Ambien slide. Feel free to read it tonight. You'll know what I mean. So thank you for having me, Seth, conductor, this event is really an amazing event. I was in Indianapolis for our event 2 weeks ago, and I've seen events go from this size, a few hundred people, up to 10,000. And there's something special happening here, so I expect that to happen here. Very practical, learning, great stuff. And also thank you to many of our customers who are here, who I've had the pleasure of speaking to since I got here. Thank you for being our customer. I've only been at Salesforce for 2 years. It seems much longer. I find myself working harder now being at Salesforce, a bigger company, than I did at Buddy Media, which I founded. And the reason is because Salesforce is an incredibly innovative company, the most innovative company 4 years in a row, according to Forbes magazine. And not only #1 in sales, #1 in service, #1 in all these things. We've gone from 7,000 people when I joined to 15,000. And the reason is because the company really not only invented a new way of delivering software, really a technology innovation around software, but it was also a business model innovation. So pay as you go, the subscriptions that we all kind of love in our industry right now, really pioneered by Salesforce. But really what's hit me hardest since I've been at Salesforce is the foundation work. The foundation work really was started by Mark before he even started the company. He launched the Salesforce Foundation. I'm going to let the trucks pass by. I'm usually, for the record, at these piers at bar mitzvahs or school events. So it's great to be here without a tie. I just wanted to say that. And the foundation that Mark started really took 1% of the equity, 1% of the profits from the company, 1% of our people's time at Salesforce, put it into a nonprofit. And that's created incredible results. So I get 6 paid days off to really do community service. And it's this foundation that's taking us forward. Those of us who will be at Dreamforce next week, bring a can. There'll be 150,000 people coming to Dreamforce. We're trying to get to 1 million cans that we're going to donate to help people who are not as fortunate as we are. And hopefully I see you guys there. The incredible thing about being a marketer today is the times we live in are so awesome. Like my first computer, I remember getting it, and we've gone from that huge computer, which had LAN and WAN and all these things, which we don't even talk about, to kind of the mobile connected social revolution that we have today. And so there are billions of devices being connected to the internet. And we've heard of this as the Internet of Things, right? The Internet of all these things that are talking to each other and talking to us. But we really think that this is just the dawn of the Internet of customers. So in a world where kind of these devices are hooked up to the internet, you have to realize that there is a person behind each of those devices. So some of the work that GE is doing is revolutionary around connecting their airline engines and their airplane engines to the internet. So if it breaks, their service professionals are warned. And Stanley Black & Decker, great company, connecting their tools to the network, because the customer expects that if it breaks and it's connected to the network, someone will be able to show up and fix it. And the reason why we're connecting all these devices is really the mobile phone. Why does Apple launch a phone? And 10 million of these things are sold, right? Do we really need another phone? Are we all having just confidence issues? We need to upgrade our phones, right? No. The reason is because these are our life. We live on these phones. Now, we're already planning for this holiday season. And you look at what happened last year. These are last year's numbers for the holiday season. 46% increase in commerce through the mobile, 35% of online traffic. What are these numbers going to be like, right, next year? What are these numbers going to look like and this holiday season? And that's really the existential thing that we're dealing with. And if you look at how fast these devices have grown, how fast they've taken off, it's faster than the TV, right? You think about the TV, it's everywhere. And we now have as many mobile devices as TVs, but these mobile devices, unlike the TV for the most part, is not just an entertainment device. It's not just a device that we have to make ourselves laugh to play games. These are devices that we really run our life with. It's a dashboard to our life. It's our bank. It's our car. It's our everything. I track my kids. I track everything through this device. I feel naked on the stage right now because my device is backstage. How many have 2 devices on them right now? How many have 3? We have a special program for you in the back if you have 3. And so these devices that we have loved let us do everything. So I travel a lot on Delta. It used to be that you get to the airport, you talk to someone at check-in, you talk to someone at security, you talk to someone at the airline. Now if you talk to anyone, you're pissed off. How dare you talk to anyone? How dare you show up and have to talk to a human being, right? We book our flight through this device. We check in through the device. We look at all of our information with Delta through this device. This device is Delta. Now, it's not just your airline, it's everything else. I got here today on a bike, right? City bike. Our bank provides us a bike through our phone, right? Totally changed our life. And if you look at how we're using these devices, it's really all about this world of apps, right? We go onto a website because we have to, right? They don't have an app, so we may go to a mobile website. But we'd much rather a fast, always-on, ambient nature of how we interact. Now, we still use games on these devices, so just because it's not just an entertainment device doesn't mean that it's not great for gaming. Just got the iPhone 6 Plus, which is in the back. Feel free to go steal it if you want. And it's an incredible gaming device. I love games. I play with my kids. This device is an incredible gaming device. But it's not just a gaming device. You know, 28% of all the time we're spending with device is social. If our friends aren't with us in all the apps, we feel really naked, which is kind of incredible. And we're seeing this witnessing not only of mobile addicts who use your phone a few times a day, but you look at heavy users who are actually some of your best customers, and they're logging into their apps, using their apps double as much as they did last year. You see the growth, 123% in this addict market for the mobile device. Really incredible. Now, don't think that this is just men. It used to be that men would adopt the technology and eventually women would catch up. Like, women are just as much of a mobile addict. You're just as guilty as we are, which I'm excited about. And so if you look at who these mobile addicts are, these are your customers. These mobile addicts are the women who are on the go. They're successful. They have families. They are multitasking. That's why they're 6.5 times more likely to be a sports fan, 10 times more likely to be a mom. I think you should be marketing to these mobile addicts. If you get the mobile addict, you get the world, in my mind. And it's not just men, of course, or women. It's also men. So, we are just as guilty, and it's a great, great audience for all of us who are trying to sell stuff. Now, the issue is we know how much time is being spent with these mobile phones, but we're still not activating customers through the mobile devices. If you look at the ad spend, if you look at production resources and technical resources, customer support, everything is trailing in terms of the customers got to the future faster, we never got there, which is the fundamental issue that kind of we're working on, because we're rewiring marketing right now. Think about that last session of keywords and websites. We're moving to a post-keyword world, right? We're moving to a post-website world, which is incredible. We're moving from this world of pages that we've dealt with for 20 years. I've been in this industry since 1996, right? It's been all about HTML and web pages. How do you tag them? How do you get people there, right? We've been talking about cookies for 2 decades now. Now, all of that breaks in this world of mobility, social, cloud, right? All this falls apart. You cannot cookie people effectively on a mobile device. You can't retarget them. And search, retargeting, that's how we've grown our businesses, right? That's how we grow our business. And now we're moving from pages to conversations, right? To apps, to people, putting people at the center. I just bought an amazing new camera. It's a Sony A7. I love this camera. I would recommend it to anyone. I bought it right down the street at B&H. I bought it online. It's a full frame. Anyone who's into photography, it's full frame, compact, like it's relatively small. Here's a picture I just took of my dog, Bernese Mountain Dog, the greatest dog ever. Love her. I have 3 kids, but I love her the most. She's my favorite kid. I know that's between us. We're not live streaming, hopefully. And you buy a phone or a camera or anything, and from the camera, I'm now like Ansel Adams. I can't get away from camera ads, right? Everywhere I go, I'm being shown camera ads. And not only am I being shown camera ads, I'm being shown camera ads from the same retailer that I already bought that camera from, right? Sell me lenses, sell me bags, sell me anything but the camera. I spent like the most money I've ever spent on like anything. This camera was like $2,000, right? Which I'm the cheapest person in the room. I don't do, but I like put a lot of effort into this. I bought the camera, and I literally cannot turn off camera ads. And that's how we're still marketing. Guilty as charged. You're probably seeing Dreamforce stuff everywhere right now because it's next week. We all do it because retargeting and keeping in front of a customer in this display world is how we always did it, but that is changing. Okay? And why it's changing is we're not only rewiring marketing, we're rewiring all of global business. All of global business is being changed because of these mobile devices. And because of the mobile device, the customer is at the center. In a way they've never been, right? We always put our businesses in the center. We put SEO in the center. We put email in the center. We put our internal politics. We put our internal organization. We always pivoted towards something internal, a new product, a new launch, a new hire. Businesses today have to pivot to the customer. If they don't pivot to the customer, they will no longer be around. And we're seeing industries completely change, right? There used to be a newspaper called the New York Times, which was dominant, right? I went to Medill. I was a Northwestern journalism student. I was a reporter. The idea that people wouldn't get their news from the New York Times was so, even to me, so ridiculous, right? BuzzFeed has now replaced that for a generation of millennials. If you want to reach every millennial, you go to BuzzFeed, right? New York Times is for me, my parents, and grandparents. You look at the media companies, and we've seen a total shift from the power of the owner, the power of the cable companies, the power of the owning wires in the ground, to the power to the creator. Now, I don't know if your kids play Minecraft. My kids are addicted to this game. It's an amazing game. I love the game. But Sky was working at a Subway a few months ago. He's now making millions of dollars with 10 million plus fans talking about Minecraft on YouTube. He is more profitable. He has a better business model than really any media company. And he has a direct relationship with many of his customers through email, through mobile phones, through the game itself. And my favorite example is Uber. I mean, how many people use Uber to get here today? A ton, right? You look at what this company is really doing and what it's doing to turn over transportation. The stat that just blows me away is that this is a company that's creating more than 20,000 equivalent jobs every month. So whatever we think about Uber, this is a very important trend. And why? Because you just press a button and the car comes here, right? I'd recommend pressing it before everyone else when my talk ends or when today ends. But you see the power of this. And every industry is Uberizing. Every industry, there is a company that is trying to crush your company. No matter how innovative, like Salesforce, how small, or how big. And they're innovating by going direct to the customer and creating their Uber button. Creating their button that they just push and people get there. Now, no joke and no kind of surprise that 100% of all CEOs are like, we got to invest in digital marketing. That's the only way we're getting close to the customer, right? Literally, what other Gartner report has 100% of CEOs saying that they're doing this? Right? That's why I'm so excited to be a marketer. That's why you should be so excited. Like, you are the future CEOs of all of your businesses. They used to come up, CEOs used to come up through like distribution and technology. But those of us in the room, like, build close relationships, because the person you're sitting next to will be CEO of a big company. I see it happening, whether it's big brands, whether it's small brands. And the reason why digital marketing is so important is because, whatever survey, I love this IBM survey, getting closer to the customer is imperative, and digital marketing is the only way really to do it. Now, the issue and why we're at this conference and why we're in business and really what we're working on is it's very difficult to do this. We asked 200 marketers earlier this year, like, what are some of the things that have changed in your business? And there are two things that stuck out. One is over half of everyone, these are big marketers we asked, said we're increasing our investments into two things. One is data and analytics, which is the second thing right here. Two is marketers are saying, I'm now responsible for revenue numbers. I'm now responsible for growth. I used to just be responsible for branding and creating a few spots, but the revenue numbers are more and more on my shoulder, which is scary because 66% of them say that they're like ill-prepared because they don't even know who their customers are, right? They have no idea. You look at like a lot of our big clients and there are a few companies that control most of the stuff in grocery stores today, right? All the companies that we know, they've never had a direct relationship with their customer. What happens in a world where you've been disintermediated from retailers, right? They're a B2B company. These are B2B companies that sell to a retailer, and the retailer has the relationship with the customer. And that's why these companies are taking a leadership position in trying to get to the future faster. I'm spending a lot of time with some of these companies, and it is an existential issue. How do we go from a 1 million-person database to a DNA-type, billion-person database where we have like the digital identity DNA for the world's consumers? And so there are basically 4 questions that all these companies, and really every company, I think, need to ask. And so every company, I think, need to ask these 4 questions and answer them. It's easier to ask them, I found, than answering them, which is the issue. We'll get into kind of some of my ideas there. But these 4 questions are really like boiling down to like, what is a marketer, right? And number 1, it's, do you know your customers? Do you know who they are? If they came into your store, could you tell what they bought? Do you know them when they come to your website? Do you have any idea who these people are? And for a lot of the companies that I just mentioned, they don't, right? And assuming you know who your customers are, you then have to answer, do you know where they are in their journey with you? And when I'm talking about journey, I'm not talking about a journey of just how do you get people to buy. I'm talking about you've never interacted with them, you've never seen them, through to when they decide to leave you, right? All of our businesses have churn, okay? The third question is very simple, is do you have a strategy to move them forward in their journey? Okay, you know this person churned 30 days ago. Do you have a strategy if you see them again to get them back? Someone has downloaded your app but never used it. Do you have a strategy to get them to use it? Someone has come into the store but never purchased. Someone has called the customer service center pissed off. What is your next move with that customer? And what I love about this is the fun stuff. This is the ability to sit down and say, like, okay, let's really understand our customers, either one-to-one customer journeys or cohorts and buckets of customers. And fourth is, are you measuring what's important? Are you measuring the business impact of those journeys? Are you able to say that we did this, and because we did this, we retained 25% more of our customers? So I'm rarely the smartest person in the room, but I've had an adage that I've used for all 4 or 5 of my companies, which is like, if it works, do more of it, and if it doesn't work, just don't do it, right? So if it works, game on, right? Because not many things work, at least for the businesses I've started, but the ones that do, you have to go all in on. Okay? And that's why, you know, a lot of this new talking and thinking that I've been doing, I wrote about this late last week in Ad Age. It's really this idea that really you are, and when I say CMO, it's the whole marketing organization. So each of you is really the customer journey officer. Sales, service, marketing, anything that touches a customer, because when you have that customer, when that customer has you in their pocket, when they expect you to get back to them when they need it, when instant gratification isn't quick enough, you need to be there, right? That 5-minute delay. And this is really what our CMO is working on. So Lynn Voidovich is an incredible executive. She's an incredible person. It's been awesome working with her. But this is really what she's thinking about. So the people, 150,000 people coming to Dreamforce next week, right? What are we doing with them after, right? We're taking Dreamforce on the road, going to Japan, coming to New York November 19th, going everywhere. How are we touching the customers? How are we building that relationship? And so it's B2B, it's B2C companies, it's every company. And as we're starting to say, like, the journey is the reward. We were so focused as marketers, frankly, as people, as human beings, on the destination. We're so focused on, let's just get there. Let's just sell more. Let's just do this and accomplish this. And I think what we're realizing is that it's really about the journey. And it's really about that journey you go on. And that is marketing. And if you're a customer, it's really about the totality of the relationship. Okay, because the customer chooses when to start the journey. They choose when they're done with the journey, right? They choose how they're going to travel with you. They decide, you no longer decide how you interact with those customers. Okay? And that expectation is so huge. We didn't have that expectation 2 years ago. You didn't have the expectation that I'm going to use social channels like Twitter to get a faster response. You didn't have the expectation that if something breaks and the product's connected to the internet, something should happen, that SOS button. But Amazon had the SOS button on the Kindle. You now have connected products. I love that Sony camera. It's connected to the internet, but there's no help button. I should be able to press a button, my cell phone rings, the company calls, or I FaceTime with them, right? And what's happening in kind of modern marketing, and I look at kind of our partners at Twitter and Facebook who are kind of see the data and inventing new ways for paid, owned, earned media, all of the major platforms are going down this customer route. You look at active audiences at Facebook. You look at Twitter's ad products. You look at CES this year. Dick was on stage. I was there watching it. And he said CRM, which happens to be our stock symbol, and advertising are coming together in one-to-one marketing. You would not see publishers do that in the past, right? One-to-one marketing. Like, what is that? But what it is if you realize that behind every tweet, behind every app, behind every interaction is a person. I keep hitting this too fast. I apologize about that. But every interaction, every app, every person who downloads, there's a person there, right? When you realize that and put that person in the center, amazing things happen. And the great thing is, like, that is a much easier way to run your business with a person in the center than complicated process in the center. Okay, so what's happening is we're seeing, all targeting segments go down to one. What that means is they're getting slimmer and slimmer. Companies that used to do blast and pray emails are now doing 1 million different emails to 1 million people. Companies that are using their sales data, their transaction data to actually put into the mobile apps and then use that in their ad programs, right? And so, this idea of the funnel's going away. This idea of, we're going to organize and optimize our business based on this is just no longer around. And how many of us have been in customer experience management meetings, right? Like, we're going to manage customer experiences. That just doesn't happen anymore. Like customers aren't managed, they manage you. And the company that I think is getting it, it's a company that I love. I have their products. I play not every day because my kids aren't allowed to play video games during the week. I wish they could play during the week. But it's a great product. The new PlayStation 4, it's a product that's revolutionary, not only because of the speed and what it does. In the past, this is how it would market, right? Like how many Ethernet cards, how many gigabytes, how many this, how many that, right? Feature and functions. But today, all the marketing looks like this. It's personalized, right? When you go in, your actual screen is personalized for you. They've brought together their customer data with the actual product experience. This always-on experience. It's social, so you can share. Not only can you share, you actually can chat with everyone. So rather than talk about this, let me show you what the customer is doing. Let's go to the video.
With the launch of PlayStation 4, we are extremely excited because we put a lot of effort into making sure that we listen to our customers. It really isn't just about features, it's about the overall feeling of being part of a massive community of gamers. It means that we're constantly striving to keep up with their demands, and at the end of the day, we're only as good as the customers coming back day after day, playing and then purchasing PlayStation. Our products are connected by their very nature, so our customers are connected to all of their friends, they're connected to us. When we started thinking about all the data sources that we had, it was almost like, oh my God, what are we going to do with this? You know, we're sitting on this goldmine of information that really can enhance our customer experience. And the ExactTarget Marketing Cloud provides us the tools to really analyze the interactions we have with our customers in a real-time fashion that we haven't had before. When you get down to the fact you can see what people are playing and see how they're playing and how far they get into games and what sort of games they're playing, you really then can actually start to segment these audiences and provide a customer experience for them that actually they relish. We have conversion rates of almost 50% greater, and that's actually not just about selling. I don't think it's just about selling, it's about providing them content and providing them information. So when you get to a certain level within the game, you get a trophy. Well, we can see that data and we can say to our customers, you've reached this level, therefore you're going to get this free gift of some digital download. So it does feel very personal. It feels like actually somebody's bothered to take notice. The direct communication that we now do, whether it be web, whether it be mobile, whether it be email, whether it be social, is essential to the success because it's about the interaction between us and our customers. So it's a one-to-one communication that they expect. You know, they like to see the big brand campaigns, but they are becoming more active when these messages are much more targeted and much more relevant to them because we have analysed the data and we can work with the data closer. And the ability to do the direct communication with the tools that ExactTarget Marketing Cloud provide really will make that success happen for PlayStation 4. And I think when a company takes notice in a way that's actually correct as opposed to just pretending to take notice, then I think actually the customer will look at it and go, oh, okay, you've passed the test today. Yeah, but you've got to keep coming back and passing the test every day.
So it's just awesome, like what this company has done by committing to the customer. And what's so awesome is I've been working with this company and talking to them for a while, and I'm a user, and to see this type of kind of data, like this is what matters, right? Is it a surprise that they committed years ago to the customer, and they now, after 8 years of being kind of number 2, 3, or 4 in the console market, they're number 1. What's the ROI of being number 1, right? Like that's epic. Like that is so awesome. Now another company that I love is Trunk Club. I don't like shopping, so this company sends you a box. It's men, primarily men. I guess you could, if you're a woman, you could kind of subscribe. It's all men's clothes though, I'll warn you. And a box shows up, you keep whatever you want, and you send back what you don't. And what's interesting is the company has stylists. The stylists actually have a mobile app, and they may be styling 500 people, and they know the sizes of the people, and they can send the box. If they write into this kind of site, it'll route it right to your stylist. So really one-to-one at a massive level. Why I'm so psyched about this company and why I put it up here is, as big as Sony is, this company is a startup, only been around 5 or 6 years. They just sold to Nordstrom's, and now they're working with Nordstrom's to really take this idea to the next level. Let's go to the video and show you a little bit about Trunk Club.
If I get on a plane tomorrow and I find myself in New York and I walk into a major department store, they're not going to know who I am.
They have no data around the things I've bought.
They don't know anything about me.
You walk into Trunk Club, and even if we haven't seen you in 18 months, we know everything about you. We know everything that you've ever done with our service.
Salesforce allows us to pick up that relationship and pick up that conversation from wherever we left off. It's about being able to ensure that all of the pieces of the business are focused on the customer. That's it.
We exist because guys love to look good but hate shopping. You sign up online, you're matched with a stylist in our Chicago office, and he or she will work with you to send you awesome clothes. You keep what you like, you send back what you don't. We pay for shipping both ways, we make it really easy.
The Trunk Club experience for a customer has to be cohesive, and for us that means sales, marketing, and customer service all have to be talking to each other.
Trunk Club runs on Salesforce. It just works smoothly, and you don't take that for granted when you're at a startup, right? When you're growing as quickly as we are, we're so much more productive and effective at doing our day-to-day everything. It's basically given us a chance to capture every single thing that happens with that customer. If it didn't happen in Salesforce, it didn't happen.
Back in the day, each stylist maybe had 50, 100 guys to manage. Those days are over. We've got some of our more tenured stylists now are covering 500, 600, 700 guys at a time. And Salesforce.com makes the sales team bionic.
We can deliver a really personalized experience, but do it in a way that is scalable, is leveraged by technology so that it feels human to the customer, but it works like a machine underneath.
The ability to interact just real time is the necessity of mobile in our business.
We set out to build this mobile application on top of the Salesforce platform. We built it in about a week.
So I get up from my desk and now I'm walking through physical racks of inventory, and I've got to figure out what to pull for him in that trunk. On my phone, I can see all his previous buying history.
I can see their height, their weight, and then I can use the size advisor to figure out what sizes are going to work best for them.
It just allows us to clearly see the world that surrounds our customer.
We can get appointments that, where we have 3 minutes of lead time to know that they're coming in. No problem. I'll pull up Salesforce and see, who is this guy? What's he all about?
I can immediately see all of their social networking information, so we can just click on everything right there and see it all.
You can see what they're tweeting, you can see their Facebook link, their LinkedIn link, and then you see what interests them. And it just is another level for me to connect with them on.
And they're thinking how in the world do you know all this stuff? It's yep, and I already have a photo of you and know what colors are gonna look great. Let's get you started.
I'm armed with an insane amount of data, that's gonna give me, compared to my competition, it's not even gonna be close. I'm a weapon compared to what they're doing. Serving a customer at Trunk Club is really a team sport, because it's really about that stylist being able to work with our customer service team to deliver an awesome experience, and our marketing teams and our technology teams being able to build on top of them.
I think we've tripled our leads in the last 3 months. If someone tweets and they're mentioning how they're looking into Trunk Club, we can reach out to them. We can follow that conversation and see how we can provide something to them of value. And the next thing you know, he's a customer.
The customer dictates how he wants to engage. You have to be able to cover every single one of those channels to make sure that you never drop that customer service experience. So it's mobile, it's social platform, it's the email.
It's all in front of them on a screen, and it's hey, what can we do to make this an awesome experience for you?
If I'm not here in the office and one of my clients calls, the customer service team can immediately pull up the client's profile in Salesforce, and I don't feel like the wheels are going to fall off.
To put that in perspective, our stylists are on a train somewhere on the weekend, and a guy rings in and says, "Oh my gosh, big presentation in Vegas next week. You have to send me a trunk." Instead of waiting until Monday to pack that trunk, she can do it on the train right then and there, pack the trunk virtually via her mobile, and it's ready to go Monday morning. It's out the door.
We're changing the game.
We're here to disrupt an industry.
If traditional retailers could come in and see how we're using technology to actually deliver this one-to-one service, I think they would realize that this is the future of service-oriented retail.
There's no way that you were allowed to establish a true, credible, trusting relationship with the customer without this platform.
There's a lot of talk these days around all companies wanting to be more customer-centric, wanting to become customer companies. And you don't need to be $1 billion company to do that, right? You just need Salesforce.com.
So that's what we think it means to do one-to-one customer company marketing. Every industry has to do this. So every industry, whether you're in banking, whether you're in retail, whether you're in gaming, you have these journeys. You have these journeys. Now, whenever we build product, we think of this company, Northern Trail Outfitters. I just found out it doesn't exist. We use it for our demos and for our marketing stuff. But let me show you kind of what we mean. So one journey that a customer would be on is better serve our current customers, right? We just want to better serve people who are buying with us, who are already customers. And what that means is it's going to affect anonymous browsing, people who made their first purchases, people repeat, and the loyal customers. Now, literally, what we can do now is map out what is actually happening, who's coming in through direct, through search, through mobile, through all these channels. What are they doing? What's happening to cause them to fall out of our business? And we can take those customer journey maps, which is what we call them, and put it into a piece of technology and layer the analytics right on top of those journeys. So create the journeys. I don't care where you want to create them. Do it with lipstick on a mirror, do it with a piece of paper, do it on a whiteboard. Put that into a system and start measuring. And the company I haven't talked about today is Microsoft and their 360 product. That product is run on our technology, and they have 6,000 customer journeys that they're attacking, right? And once you have the customer journeys, then you can plan out the communications. Then you could plan out the content. Then you could plan out the intervals. Send an email here. If they have the app, do an iOS 8 notification. If they don't have the app, do this, right? And so at the end of the day, it's not the purchase that matters. It's the idea that you're going to be with this company forever. You've got to get your data in order. So the two issues that stop companies from doing this is, number one, it's just internal change that's needed. Like we're set up in silos, right? I handle SEO, I handle email, I handle whatever, right? We got to get our internal structure. And number two is data. You need to get your data in order. And once you do that, it's just a matter of using content, everything we've heard today, all of the efforts you're doing to push people forward in that journey. So thank you once again. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys soon.